Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are subscribed, if you're new, hello and welcome. We're changing things up a little bit. I think all my readings on the channel are pretty much love related, and today I wanted to do this reading which I've been wanting to do probably ever since I started the channel. I just didn't feel like I had the right cards for the reading. And as you can see by the title, yes, we are doing a past life reading, and I have actually a bunch of new cards. I'm switching up the decks a little bit. I don't know how many new decks I'm using, but you're going to see some new cards and just changed up the layout a little bit. And instead of the usual charms, we have some new ones too. So I think it's a good way to start off the readings for the month of July. And that is all I have, so let's get to it. I think there's a lot of information we're going to dive into. Pile 1, you are the cat. Pile 2 is the astronaut. Pile 3 is the pineapple. Timestamps are in the description box and in the comment section. There we go. I'll meet you guys at your pile. Hi Pile 1, welcome to your pick a card reading. You guys are the cat pile. As I mentioned, this is a reading I've been wanting to do for the longest time, but I just did not have the cards that I felt would really give a good insight into your past lives. So I have them today and I'm ready to go. What do I want to say before? Of course, as always, thank you to my subscribers for all your support and your kindness, your understanding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it so much. To everybody who's booked personal readings with me, quick shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I am going to restock the shop today, so after this is posted, and it should be restocked. I am thinking about adding this because I really do like looking into past lives. So that's it. We have a lot to cover. Let's get to it. We're just gonna stand your cat up here. Kind of nice to set them off over there in the corner. I have a lot of cards. I'm not gonna lie with you guys, or lie to you guys. There's a lot of cards. I drew a lot because I kind of wanted to get an insight as to who you were as a person, and then I wanted to find out what happened to you in this past life. So I asked to get into the Akashic records. Someone had requested this reading before, and the reason I didn't do it was because I didn't feel prepared. I feel ready. Right now I'm trying to separate the two piles, because I do have two piles, and like I said, I pulled lots of cards. We're gonna start off with who you were as a person, and then we'll look into what the actual past life energy was. I'm not gonna, you guys are the only pile. When I was shuffling, I was okay when I did the first part that we're gonna cover, who you were. But once I started shuffling as to what happened in your past life, not to scare you guys, I started crying. So I feel like there's a lot of emotional, wounds that possibly may have come up in this past life. So the other reason I want to do this reading, I know I'm gonna get to the reading, I promise. It's not just because of the fun of it, because yeah, it's cool to see like, okay, this is where I possibly lived, you know, this is who I was in a past life. But also for those of you that are healing, it will give you a better understanding of maybe why you have a specific wound, right? Okay, I'm done. Let's get to it. So we're gonna find out who you were as a person. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. I'm just gonna go, we're doing this reading differently. We're just gonna go one by one. The Wheel of Fortune, for that, you guys were wealthy. You had it made. You had everything you needed in life. I feel like you had very abundant lifestyles. You were very well taken care of. I don't have like male or female energies. We'll see what information I get, but I feel like scholar. Like scholar is something that just came to me, and doctor is another thing. So when I was seeing you with like that little black bag that they used to carry, so those are some of the stuff that's coming up already. But that's what I get with that card. We have the Three of Pentacles, who you were. So I feel like you were a teacher. You were someone who people listened to. You may be someone who was not like a jester, but I feel like you had a talent like for entertaining people. That's kind of the energy I'm getting with this. But I do feel like you were someone who worked well with others. You got along with other people. You were close to your family, your friends. You had a tight-knit group of people around you that supported you. We have the Nine of Cups. So every time I see the Nine of Cups in Rider-Waite, because this is exactly what came to me right now though, not only it is associated with someone who possibly likes having fun, going out. I just see like, is it the Jester, or it's one of the people, if you guys have seen Sleeping Beauty, and it's the one guy who plays the guitar and he's just like drunk out of his mind, it seems like, while the kings are talking. So that's kind of the energy I get with this. I feel like for some of you, you enjoyed drinking, you enjoyed having a beer, going, I mean, there wasn't much to do back in the days, right? So, but that's the kind of energy I'm getting. So for some of you, you may have had a past life like in those medieval type times with that. But I do feel like you were someone who was just very happy. I feel like you guys were really blessed. You had money, you were fulfilled, you got along with people. I just feel like you kind of had it maybe easy in a way. At least personally, your personality, that's what I get. I have some new cards. Let's get to it. So we have the Libra. Libra is about the arts. And so that's kind of tying into what I was saying about like the jester and like entertaining people. So I feel like that is one of the themes here that we have going on. You were someone who was very a social butterfly is what I get. People liked you is another thing. Artistic, yeah, some of you may have been painters, you may have been artists, but anything surrounding the arts, like Shakespearean actors, if you feel drawn to that kind of history, there's a reason for it. So don't doubt your mind and dig deeper into it. So that's all I'm going to say with that. We have the first house, self. But when I see this, so I do see, you know, the wooden house, but I feel like you just had money. You were abundant. But it is talking about physical body. So, you know, going back to the doctor and healing, it doesn't have to be just a doctor. Like, you know, it could have been like, oh gosh, I can't even think of a name. Is it the shaman? Life philosophy. I do feel like you guys were very knowledgeable, and especially if you're a doctor, you have to be very knowledgeable, very smart. I also feel like some of you were very intuitive in your past lives as well. It's not just limited to this, just with the door opening and kind of seeing this huge castle. But it also could be that some of you in past lives were, you know, lower class as well, so you weren't exactly in the castle, but I feel like you were okay, like you had enough financially. We have another North Node and Destiny. So it's talking about school, fulfillment, purpose, experience, fruition, practice, begin, blossoming, integrity, journey. I feel like you were just in a line with everything that you needed to, and that's why you were so blessed abundantly, because you were doing what you were supposed to be doing. You were aligned with your soul purpose, and that's pretty cool, because that's all we've been talking about. A lot of that just experience and learning and having purpose, and just the school. I think I have another one. Yeah, I do. So we have Taurus. These cards are just going to end up getting stacked on top of one another. The Bombshell. So I do feel like you guys are very attractive. Don't just think this is limited to being that you are female. It could be that you were male as well. The Taurus being very grounded, very into the beauty of things, very Taurus and Libra. I feel kind of in a way complement each other. But I'm not gonna go through everything. It says that you were, you know, pleasure seeking. So yeah, that Nine of Cups, right? It had good times. You were just lively. You were the life of the party in this past life. Blooming, solid, sensuous. You were loyal, tenacious, possessive. So if you're possessive in this lifetime, maybe that's still carrying on here. Maybe you have lessons to learn regarding that. But that is all. So, you know, you guys can take a deeper look into those cards, like at least these ones, and to get more information if you'd like. You certainly can. I have more cards over here. So you were the Penguin. You were all about family. I feel like you did find your soulmate for a lot of you. You were happily married. You had children. authentic. I feel like people, you just didn't really wear any mask. You were who you were. You were okay with it. I just get flaunting. You were flaunting in a good, well, maybe, I don't know, in a good way. I don't feel like it was negative in any kind of sort. It says family gives you strength when you face the storm. Love your uniqueness. You are full of surprises. Break free from others' expectations. Just be yourself. It's just about being you and loving who you are. You were just very in alignment. You had a lot of self-love is what I get with this. But yeah, going back to having that tight-knit group of people, that's just connecting to that. The Heron, patience, create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently toward your purpose. So we have two cards talking about purpose, and it's funny because I always say how the placement kind of just ends up meaning something. So these two are very connected. You were very in line with what you were meant to do, and you used your gifts for the greater good of all concerned. So that's very positive, very cool to see. And look at this, we have the butterfly. Can I just say, this is one of the second new deck I'm using, I think. Well, the third one, since the tarot is kind of new still too. But I love the artwork on this one, on all these cards actually. The whole deck is beautiful. So the butterfly, rebirth, you know, and butterfly is just the beauty, but it's also you were changing. You kind of just went with the flow. You adapted well. You handled changes. You went through changes and went through a transformation in your past life. Says to reinvent yourself, open to the rewards of change. You have the brilliance to share with the world. You did. You were skilled. You were knowledgeable, whether it was through healing, whether it was through arts. You healed in your own kind of way, because, you know, that's why we watch movies and listen to music, right? Because they're healing. So the same thing. You were a healer no matter what kind of field you were ultimately in. So that's the personality. Very beautiful, pile one, for that. I could have just done this into like a 4-part mini reading, because I'm not even done with the first part. I'm already at 11 minutes. So I hope that you guys are enjoying the reading. Let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate it. So these are your careers. I've already tapped into these unintentionally, but here we go. So here's the first one, a guide. So you were a guide for people, but you know, you were wise. Kind of goes back to that shaman. But that's another career that you possibly had in your past life. For some of you, because, you know, it's the collective, and I know a lot of you are going to be watching this one still. But that's the first one. We have an angel. So for those of you who I said that, you know, you had that intuitive nature, because this is what I saw. Like, I was getting the intuitive tie to this card. That one is what I get too, but it's helping those in need with no expectations of return. So you might have been like a nurse or a doctor who went and cured people, who went and helped others without any expectations. Like, you may have been so blessed and abundant that the people who had less than you were one of those people who would go and offer. Like, you may have had people around you that you went and helped. You may have been a part of the church back then. You know, we're talking years and years, right? So we're not talking nowhere near now. It could have been that you traveled distance as well. So there's different things that come to mind with the angel, but I really feel it's someone who's very selfless, who gave of what you had and your skills and your talents to help others who needed it. I was just gonna time it out. And then look at this. So what were we talking about? Medieval times. Oh my gosh. Do I need to say anything? Night. So for those of you, again, if you were connected to like Avalon, Excalibur, the Knights of the Round Table, that kind of thing, or just, you know, kings and queens and just that kind of era, and maybe you're drawn to those movies and stuff. I'm really drawn to the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle deck, and so I kind of feel like I have a tie to one of those in a way. But for you guys, there's just that other confirmation. Okay, I'm gonna grab a drink of water because it's been a lot of talking. Okay, choking on my water. But let's get to what your life was like. So, since I mentioned the wisdom of Avalon oracle cards, it's these ones, and these ones I connected to right away. Like any reader, I feel like you connect to certain cards right away. These cards I connected to right away. That's why I mentioned it, but I want to give you guys a visual of what I was talking about, because you're probably like, huh, what the but anyways, here we go. Lady of the Lake, absolute truth, courage, self-respect, responsibility. I mean, that's what I got with this one. Like, you were a badass in your past life. You didn't take no shit, but I feel like people liked you. You were just, like, you were a protector almost. I feel like you were just ready to protect the less privileged, and I don't get that you were out to harm anybody. I feel like this is a very nice reading because I'm sure there's all kinds of lives out there that we could have tapped into, and this is the life that we're getting. Let's get some more cards. Answering the call. Just the medieval vibe, and this door and this door, I get that same kind of architecture. I asked my guides to use the imagery, not just the messages, because answering the call, I just feel like you lived out kind of on your own. And again, it doesn't have to mean that you guys were feminine. You could have been males in past lives too, so don't just get wrapped up into that, because I mean, we have the knight, you know, and the doctor. So, and usually it was men that were doctors in past lives, but yes, there were the nurses, and there were the ones who used herbs, and those were not looked as highly as the doctors were. But anyways, that's really what I get. I just get the medieval time frame with both of these, and I really feel a connection to that. Even with that Sleeping Beauty reference, that time it was about knights and stuff and dragons, so that's another thing. Okay, what am I gonna put over here? I'm gonna put this over here. Door to romance. So you did have a romantic life with someone, and we have 3-3, so that might be a number if that resonates with you. But just as a confirmation, this reading is for you. I'm just moving the cards around, but we'll take a look at the rest of the cards. Let's do, I did draw tarot for this part as well. So we have the Queen of Presents, we have the Four of Needles, and we have the Chariot. So for some of you, it might be that you were a traveler. For some of you, I don't know why I just got like Oregon Trail, but that's what's coming up. It's a real possibility. We can't just dismiss anything, and I'm not trying to dismiss anything because I'm like, you know, but that's what I get with that. You may have been a traveler. You might have been like someone who traded, like a salesperson, and it's not just limited to like a chariot. I'm seeing ships right now. So what trading companies, you know, like when spices and silks, and you know, I feel like I'm going back to history class right now, going through that. Maybe I should have paid more attention. But that's what I get with that. So there was a lot of traveling, there was distance, part of your job it could have been, and maybe also as a guide, maybe you guided people to certain destinations with that. The Queen of Presents. So for some of you, I do feel like you were mothers in past lives, but also just very grounded. I feel like that Taurus energy is very connected. And again, going back to the placement of the cards, right? Because this is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and right here we have Taurus. So just another confirmation. You were very grounded. You were mature. You handled your responsibilities. You were that nurturer. And it goes back to the angel. Like, I just feel like this lady, like she's cooking to give to the people who didn't have food. Maybe you were a bread, you know, like made bread, baker, you know, that kind of thing. So that's another thing that I get. I shouldn't have drawn this many cards. I really shouldn't have. We have the Four of Needles. Okay. I feel like for some of you, you were very connected to religion. You prayed a lot. You went to church a lot. You were very by the book is what I get. I feel like, but that's, you were kind of connected to spirit always. You were always protected and watched over. Okay. These are the cards I really wanted to use because these are the ones I really needed. So the male, female, this can be interpreted so many different ways. It could be that you were like, okay, If you were a male, you were a female. If you're a female, you were a male. It could have been that this is a relationship between two people. This could be two people that it was like an unrequited love type of situation. It could have been that you had, you know, a romantic interest, but you ended up, you know, having to be married to somebody else. So there's different things that come up with that. Whatever came to you intuitively, go with that. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you a little bit of guidance on how to read it, so that you know, maybe, okay, this sounds more like me, or this kind of hits a note. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. We have orphan. So, you know, it was where you were left alone. So, like, I got this card for myself, and it came out quite a bit. So for those of you healing, to make that connection, my fear of abandonment, it's like, oh, it comes from being orphaned and being left alone. So it could have been, even though I know we talked about having everything here, maybe growing up you didn't have anything. Maybe you were stuck in one of those, the orphanage, and it was just cold, and you know, it's not the kind of life you want. And I feel like as you grew, you just kind of went into this other direction. But there's many different possibilities with this, right? And I know we're tapping into different lives, we're not just tapping into one. So if you have a fear of an abandonment, or if you have an abandonment wound, maybe that's why. We have phobia. So you were someone who was afraid of different things, maybe fearful. I mentioned when I see her hands clasping, and I was picturing the Four of Swords, and in the card in the Rider-Waite, you know, he's praying almost, and I feel like you may have had a fear of the devil, you may have fear of witches, but I think you've gotten over that if you're watching this. You know, so it may be that maybe one of your fears became a reality, and that's what ultimately led to your death in that past life, or one of your past lives. So you may have been someone who was very cautious, very I feel like that energy. I feel like someone who's always nosy and getting information, but very fearful. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but that's the energy I'm getting. Look, I'm gonna put it over here because I gotta show this card. Leaving or travel. Okay, so when I see this, I see Greek, I see Roman type life, you know, architecture. That's just what I see. Even pyramids, Egypt coming up. So those are other areas, not just like England or wherever all the medieval times took place. But leaving or travel, and how I was talking about the Chariot, so you were someone on the move. There's, again, a lot of different energies coming through. You might have to watch this one 2-3 times to get everything, and maybe you're piecing things together that I'm not, and that's totally cool too. That is fine. So as long as we get that rolling. But yeah, if you, that might be something too. It might have been like death-wise, might have had a sunken ship, might have been attacked, there were pirates, you know, there's different things coming up. So all right, this is my other new deck. Transition. So I feel like this is a transition. There was changes. I feel like this is the orphan, and I feel like kind of just going into becoming yourself, being independent, growing from being this scared child almost, and maybe having fear still of being abandoned even, but then growing into this strong, badass type of person. We have dreams. That is pretty. I feel like Spain. I'm just getting Spain right now. Spain was the country I was getting. Even Russia. I don't know why ballet, but ballet came to me. But that's what I get with that. I feel like you were just a dreamer. You were someone who tried to make things happen, but I feel like a lot of people held you back. So if in this lifetime you're surrounded by people who constantly tell you no, 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 or your dreams are just too way out there, I feel like this lifetime, it's about you standing up for yourself and going after your dreams. I'm just throwing out, you know, how this reading can really help out in the end. And, you know, not just about that. I have too many cards still. We have freedom. So for a lot of you, I kind of get that. castle-y vibe with that. With the freedom, you were allowed to do what you wanted. Do I necessarily think that you were female? No, I feel like a lot of you possibly may have been males in past lives, and that's, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with it. I do feel like you were free to do what you wanted. You were able to travel. I feel like it goes back to the doctor, possibly. You transported different things, you know, with the chariot that we were talking about. So that's that. We have patience. It's not about the patience. This clearly is tying into this orphan card, which I put right on top. And you were sad and heart. Oh my gosh. And now it clicks for me. I'm going back to what I was saying about there was so much sadness. There were so many tears. I feel as an adult, things went really great for you, pile one, but as a child, in at least one of your past lives, not to say all of these, but in at least one of them, you were heartbroken because you were abandoned. And look how sad she is. I mean, she's not even looking. And then look on top of, like, synchronicities are insane. The synchronicities, because she has wings, and then we're talking about an angel over here. So you're this little sweet innocent child who was abandoned. So no wonder why I was getting that crying. I feel like for those, again, if you have the abandonment wound, it's because of that. And it's not just because of this lifetime. So, whew, I got a few more cards and we'll be done. We have Wreath, sorrow over a loss. So, you know, I feel like that's connected to this, but I also feel like you may have lost someone who was very near and dear to you in a past life, and that was a tough time. We have happiness, going back to the Nine of Cups, so a little bit happier. A little bit more happy energy. It cut off on me with that, going back to the Nine of Cups, so it's just a better thing. We have the Club. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. So it may have been that you guys were prisoners. You guys could have been tortured. Like, look, don't throw out as far-fetched as some of these ideas are. The reality is that that's how messed up history is, no matter what country you look at, you know. So it could have been that you were beaten to death. You could have been in war, and there's just different things with it. So I feel like, you know, maybe you fought for freedom. Maybe you were a soldier, and, you know, I just think, because I'm just thinking right now, like the war with the US and Britain and trying to get freedom. So maybe that's part of, but liberating countries, it's not just limited to that, you know. It's just what came up to my mind. In my mind, of course, sometimes I hesitate and I forget what I'm trying to say or think. So you guys know with my readings, we have an ear, good news. So I feel like you were just really blessed in the end, no matter how hard it got. I think you were really watched over and taken care of from your guides. We have the forest, muddled, unclear thinking. More, I think you kind of lived in the forest. You lived in an outdoor woodsy type of area. If you feel very comfortable in the forest, if you get, and I know nature is very healing, but if for some reason, like a really spooky, creepy looking forest feels calm and soothing to you, maybe there's a reason why. Maybe as a child you kind of ran away to the forest. I mean, there's so many different things I could bring up, right? And I don't want to keep going with it. We have the Wedge. Someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. So the door to romance and that one card, the male female card, I feel like there was a wedge. I feel like there was someone who came between it. It might have been your parents who were like, no, you're marrying this person, that's it, you're not going to marry this other person. So there's a lot of information here. Let me know if I should split this up. I'm gonna do more past life readings. I'm telling you guys right now, I am, regardless of how many views it gets, I am going to do more. And I'm going to do personals as well with this. I think I am. I don't know, I enjoy it. And if I should split it up, if you guys would like me to focus more on who you were as a past, you know, as a person in the past, would you like to know more about, like, what happened in your past life? Do you really want to know how you died in a past life? Like, just let me know. If it didn't resonate, you guys, it's energy from the past. But if there's something, just a few things that you can pick up from here, then this was meant for you. Okay, that is where I leave it, pile one. I know, different reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment, like, share, subscribe if you're not already. Remember to click on the bell icon so you get notified when I post another pick a card. For more pick a card readings, the link to my Instagram is in the description box. And for personals, I have my link to the Etsy shop also in the description box for those of you interested in personals. So that is it, pile one. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye. Hi, pile two. You guys are the astronaut pile. Welcome to your pick a card reading. So I mentioned in the intro, I've been wanting to do this reading for the longest time, really ever since I started the channel. I just didn't have the right cards for it. I didn't feel ready for it. Based off of how pile one went, this is going to be a lengthy reading, so I'm sorry. Maybe split it up into two if you don't have all the time. A lot of energies came through. There's a lot of cards, so I wanted to use all these new cards and these decks, and it kind of backfired on me, so we'll see what comes up for you guys. So the other reason I wanted to do this reading is for those of you that are healing. Maybe there's specific wounds that you have that you may not understand why you have them, and maybe you're carrying it from a past life. And so if I come across any of those types of examples, you guys know I will point it out to you, but it's meant to be helpful as much as it is to be entertaining and maybe enlightening to find out who you were and what happened to you. So we're gonna put your astronaut guy over here. I think he stands up. Yeah, he does. So I just need to separate the cards. So it's split up into two piles. First, we're starting off with who you were, like as far as what were you like, what was your personality like. We're going to look into possible careers as well, so we'll see what we get for you, pile one. We're doing it a little bit different. I'm just going to go one by one. I'm not just laying them all out because it's just way too much energy, and it probably would take me just way too long to figure it out. We have the Eight of Cups, so I do feel in a past life there was some sadness, some separation. You may have lost someone very close to you. Maybe just things didn't go the way you wanted. I feel like an unjust kind of life. I feel like maybe you were accused of something you weren't guilty of. Also, what was the other thing? I completely just spaced out. That apparently that's not what I'm supposed to say. So if I was supposed to say it, it'll come back to me, but otherwise I don't think so. But I just feel like it kind of alone in a sense. I feel like maybe there were things done wrongly to you. I mean, I feel like people may have treated you unfairly. People may have stolen from you. People may have taken advantage of you. So I feel like there's just like injustice in your past life. Beginning with that. We have the King of Wands. So personality, I feel like you were someone who was not shy about expressing when they were upset. I feel like this is someone with a temper. This was someone you didn't mess with. So here's the thing that I mentioned in pile one. It is very possible if you're female now, you may have been male. If you're male now, you may have been female. So I'm picking up on a lot of different energies. Don't get too wrapped up into it. It's really not a big deal, you know, because obviously that life's over, so don't get upset about it. There's no reason to. So going back to the King of Wands, I do feel like you were very passionate, very fiery. I feel intense. I was drawn to Archangel Michael's sword. I feel like some of you were soldiers. You were on the battlefield. You were just like, you were ready to die for your country. It was all about pride. It was all about serving. It was doing your part, you know, dying with respect and just having that energy. I was getting like more like Ireland and Scotland type energies, even like Italy, Prussia type energies. I just feel like that war. There's a lot of masculine energy with that King of Wands. Like, that card to me right now is literally on fire. That's how much energy it was in the past. I feel like you went after, you got what you want for a lot of you. I feel like these are two different energies. I do not feel like the first card is tied to the second card. That card is just way too intense. So we have the Six of Cups. So this one, I feel this is a separate life. You guys are getting separate life. For pile one, I just kind of felt it all connected. But for you guys, I feel it's just different. It's not, I don't feel it's the same type of person. So the Six of Cups, I feel like this one is someone who's just kind of, I feel maybe more connected. Maybe it was a little bit connected to that Five of Cups. But you were someone who always kind of thought about the past. You reflected on the past. I feel like a very deeper type of energy. That water energy is coming through a lot. This is insane. It's insane. Like, I picked up on that fire energy. It was strong, but now the water energy, all that emotion, I feel just, I don't know, just peaceful though. It's not like this storm of emotions with the Six of Cups. I feel like there's this innocence that you had, at least in one of your past lives. So let's get to the other cards, because like I said, there's a lot. This is one of the, well, the tarot deck is a new one because I haven't used it a lot. And so we have this one. We have Pisces. So going into that water energy, we have the Mystic. So for those of you, my, tarot readers who watch, if you are a shaman, if you Reiki healers, of course I'm gonna blank out on every, like, you can scry, you're just psychic, your mediums, all those gifts, you had them. And for a lot of you, I don't need any other cards to tell you that that's going to be the reason that a lot of you were persecuted against. Maybe that's why there was that injustice. For some of you, it may have been that you were accused of being a witch, because it's not like how things are now. Yeah, not like how things are now. So in the past, if you were a witch, any kind of, it was like all hell would break loose. So for those of you, who are intuitive, chances are you were intuitive in past lives and it's been brought into this life. I know for me it has. So you're a mystic, you were a healer, different kind of things, you guys know. We have the 10th house, reputation. I just feel like that's connected there. Career, responsibilities, achievement, competence, fame, notoriety, standing, authority figures, legacy, purpose, pinnacle. So yeah, I just get that masculine energy. That's what I get with that 10th house. Just that reputation, that pride, not just for you, but it was about your family too, So I feel like that goes with a lot of cultures, but I know, like, with a lot of Asian cultures it happens too. I don't know why German just came to me. So Germany, if for whatever reason that's just coming through, I'm not going to go too much more into it. Too many cards. We have the numinous mystery. So you were someone who was very mysterious. I kind of get Scorpio energy, because Scorpios are known for being mysterious and not being upfront. And yes, of course, we have Egypt. So some of you have ties to Egypt and you've had a past life in Egypt. I specifically asked that my guides and the archangels and holy angels help out and, give me imagery. Don't just focus on it. So if you see one card saying something, but all I'm looking at is the imagery, that is why. When I'm meant to look at the imagery, that's what I'm gonna focus on. That's how it happens. That's how it works. Don't ask. It just happens. But that's what I get. I feel like you are someone, I get the mystery and the mystic very connected. I get like the Merlin kind of vibes, the wizard, the witches, that energy, intuitives. So it's kind of a contrast. That's why I'm saying there's a lot of energies coming through. There's really no way for me to focus on one. I'm sorry. I could, but it's not realistic. We have the sun being. So we have essence, energy, self-awareness, life force, spirit, creativity, honor. Masculinity, distinction, childishness, ego, and individuality, solitude, expression, self-sufficiency, shine, heartbeat, father. So a lot of the concepts that I've been getting have all been connected to it's insane. It's insane. The masculinity, the creativity, the spirit, the ego, self-sufficiency, even the father, because the father could be, it might have been that some of you were a father, and that's connected to that King of Wands. Okay, so here's another new deck. We have Horse, freedom. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. So I just feel fearless. It goes back to the King of Wands. I just keep getting back to that one, just going after what you want. King of Wands is just a go-getter. He does it. He gets the job done. If you want someone to get something done, that's who you call. You do not call that Knight of Pentacles. It might take them like 10 years to get back to you on your offer. But, you know, I'm just kidding. But that's kind of the energy I get with that. I feel like some of you were a free spirit also. So that's connecting back to the mystics, my healers, the psychics, yeah, all that. So we have the Goose, inner knowing. You are a brave traveler. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you will achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly. And I am like blown away by how the King of Wands energy is being called out in this card, and then that Pisces energy is also being called out in the card, because it's two different energies, but yet at the same time I feel like maybe for some of you, you were that mystic who was like not afraid. Like you're like, I'm gonna go and do it. I'm gonna be the first person to accomplish this. I'm gonna prove this. Why do I get like Nostradamus type vibes with it? Like going out, wasn't he like a doctor? He was a doctor before he lost his family, and then he kind of went hermit mode, and then he came back and he's like a seer. If one of you is Nostradamus, I don't know, I mean, if one of you is psychic like that, I have no words, but it's very possible. And I was telling Pile One, there's so many different things coming through. You can't really dismiss it unless you for a fact know that, no, that didn't happen to me in a past life. And there's a lot of you watching, so I feel like there's a lot of different energies coming through, but the synchronicities are crazy. And also, I love the imagery on this deck, this oracle deck. It's beautiful, so you'll probably see me use it more on the channel. Alright, last one. The pronghorn action. King of Wands, right? Like I said, he's the go-getter. Hold on. I didn't want to talk and then it time out. Okay, now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to success. Honestly, Pile 2, it is where you were someone who was fearless. A lot of you were very bold, went after what you wanted. Even though, I feel like with this especially, even though it was something that was so taboo, like so taboo, and you could have been hanged, you could have been murdered, the list goes on and on, right? And so you still went and did what you felt called to. You were fearless, you were brave, and you did that. But also the warriors, the soldiers, the people who fought for their countries, I don't, I get Roman because I keep looking at Archangel Michael, and the outfit, I just think Roman. So, and I think it was Egypt that I called out, but Rome is another thing. So if you're ever drawn to a specific time in history, chances are there's a reason for it, because you actually do have a connection to it. So, okay. Careers, oh my gosh, this reading is going to take a while. I'm just going to try to go as fast as I can through these. We have the Midas, the miser, entrepreneur or creative ability to turn anything to gold, delight in sharing life's riches. And then we have the shadow attributes, hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. So I feel like it's a mix of both. Really, for some of you, I feel like you may have had a lot of riches, but you were like, you had that lack mindset, so you held back. If you have that lack mindset now, chances are you had it in a past life too. And there you go. There's your proof of that connection. Maybe. Oh, pile 2. Some of you guys were bullies. And I get that with that Knight, the King of Wands. Let me be honest, because I felt it was just way too intense to share. But it was almost like just toxic male, like general leader, like going to battle, and then afterwards the guys are like, we're gonna go invade this village and go drink, and we're gonna have our way with the women. That's kind of the energy I was getting. It was very strong energy. Like I said, that card felt on fire to me with so much intensity. So it's not to say you guys are bad. I'm sorry. That's why I didn't want to share it, but it is something that did come up for me. So we have the bully. So in a past life, you were kind of pushy, you were bossy, and there's really nothing nice to say about a bully, but it was in a past life. So if you have karma in this life, there you go. There's the answer why I don't really think there's anything to say here. It says highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you to confront the inner fears that bully you. The shadow conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. So I know that's a lot deeper that I want to go into. I just want to keep it at bully level, and it was in a past life. So all I can say is if you have karma for it, you have karma for it. There you go. We have Goddess, so kind of a change from it, but I feel more that our psychics and our seers, right? Our mystics, our fortune tellers, that's kind of what I get with that. But the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Yeah. And then exploitation of the female nature and form. So it can go either way. It could be like this is leading into this. But for the most part, I feel like the goddess part is what's connected to the mystic over here and connecting. Okay. We're getting to the next part. This is about your life, what happened in that life, even though, like I said, we con a lot. Do I have anything to say? Mystic, high priestess, discernment, is it prescience? I have no idea how to say it. Prophecy, vision, wisdom. Again, if you have those gifts in this lifetime, you had it in previous, myself included. I don't pick piles or anything, but I can definitely relate to that. And so that's just another confirmation for some of you on that. Financial constraints. So coming back to the Midas, I cannot tell you guys, okay, I know I'm getting off topic and I'm going to only talk for a second. The synchronicities within the readings today have been insane. And I did ask, because someone had previously commented several times they wanted a reading from the Akashic Records. If you don't know what that is, please Google it because I don't have enough time. And I asked Archangel Metatron to please let me have access. And I definitely thank them for allowing me to share this information with you. But like I'm saying, that is insane. Okay. The view from above. Get the big picture. For some of you, you were royals. I feel like for some of you, especially the ones that were like in the army and maybe like captains, generals, that sort of thing, like you were given riches from your king. You were blessed. You were given a lot. For others of you, because of her, she's being in the castle, I feel like your gifts were used by the upper class, by royalty, in order to help them. So that's kind of what I get with that. She has like this white robe, and she has like a white robe, so that's kind of what I get with that. Okay, let's add on tarot. We have the 10 of Needles. Sorry, this came over here. 7 of Presents and the 2 of Presents. So over here, I feel like there was just, you were worn down. There was a lot expected from you. I feel like maybe financial constraints. If we're branching off into a different life, because like I said, there's a lot of energies coming through, different lives, different times, different periods, countries, locations. I feel like that and the financial constraints, was when you were living in a country that was just, you had that poverty mindset. For some of you, you might have had vows of, oh my gosh, why can I not think of the word? But it was, someone who knows, please comment, because it's going to drive me crazy. I can't even think about it right now. But there was vows of poverty. I think that's what it is. And if you were religious, and say you were like a priest, a nun, a monk, like you kind of made this vow to really accept that. I myself am one of those people. I had to break those vows. I kid you not, I did. I know it sounds crazy. It sounded crazy to me too. But it's a real thing. Look it up. That's what I did. I was like, okay, I guess this is kind of true. So I feel like for some of you, you made that vow. For others of you, you struggled financially and it wore you down. It brought you down, your family down, because it affected everybody. We have the Seven of Presents. And so you kind of, I feel like you were a hard worker. I do feel this is more a different life. I feel like this is one where, I don't know why the railroad came to me. It just did. And I know it's hard to confirm whether or not it's accurate, but it's coming to me. And really what the Seven of Presents was is just about you were constantly working, trying to make ends meet, trying to get food on the table. So that's what I get with that. The Two of Presents, I feel like some of you had a lot of responsibilities that you were trying to handle, a lot of responsibilities you were trying to take care of, I mean, it came down to finances because you didn't have food, then you didn't have nothing to eat. And a lot of times in history, of course, I'm not a history book, so I don't know all the times. I really should refresh my memory, to be honest. But that's what I get with that. I'm just going to leave it there. All right, this is my other new deck. Purity. So for a lot of you, I feel like you were very connected to spirit. You guys had connection to spirit back then. You have it now. This is just another confirmation. I feel like a lot of you were very pure. When I see her, I'm very thinking, I know I'm not tapping into like all around the world right now kind of thing, because there's a lot of history all around the world, I know. But the vibe that I get with this, I just think of southern US. I think of the Southern Belle. I think of like Georgia. I think of Savannah. Savannah came to me. So some of you may have been alive during the Civil War. Yeah, I'm just not going to go too much into it. I want to keep going. Playfulness. So some of you... oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I can't remember nothing right now. Vaudeville, is that how you say it? I feel like some of you were in entertainment early on, and this isn't just limited to like vaudeville. It could be years and years ago. There was always entertainment. I mean, you think of the plays, you think of like the musicians, the artists, and oh, that one, oh crap, I really should have like brushed up on my history. That time period, the Renaissance. Some of you have Renaissance. I'm telling you, if there's any time period that you are very like, you're really into, you have a connection to it, look into it, because that's me. I'm not really into the Renaissance. I know about it. I kind of like the style back then for what it was, but it's not a time period I really feel deeply connected to. Some of you might have known like Leonardo da Vinci. You might have like helped or something. You know, it's so limitless when it comes to this, and this is why this is not going to be the only reading I'm going to do. But next card is centering. You guys were very attractive people in your past life. I feel like you had the finer things, especially when I was talking about how like if you were a war general or, you know, captain, whatever, you were blessed with multiple things. I feel like you had the finer things in life. It's such a contrast, right? Because we have one life where you didn't have anything, and in this other life you had everything. So I think there was some lessons to be learned. I think there was some karmic lessons as far as not appreciating what you had, and then like, okay, in this lifetime you're gonna know what it's like not having everything. Because I feel like that Knight or King of Wands, was just so, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not calling you guys toxic, but that energy was kind of toxic. So I'm sorry if it comes off that way, because I know in a way I kind of am saying that you might have been in a past life, but hey, I'm not saying I was perfect in a past life either, so don't get mad, because I know I wasn't. Trust me, I have enough karma to clear up, so I know I kind of fucked some shit up in my past life too. But here we are learning, right? Alright, this is the one. I was supposed to draw this one sooner, but I didn't. We have farm, so obviously, yeah. And it might have been connected just to really making ends meet, like really making an honest living is kind of what I get with that. I feel like there was a lesson. I do feel like there's karma, there's life lessons here, there's certain things. I don't feel it connected to the goddess and the, you know, the mystics, so don't. Galactic, some of you are star seeds. This is your confirmation. And that's possibly why I feel like my psychics, that's really you guys. I feel, you know, there's one side of it and another. Some of you have psychic gifts that you're not using, and that's why it's showing up in this reading, because you are psychic, but you're not really showing it. And then we have the psychics who are like, yeah, I am a psychic, and so that's why it's showing up in the same one. So I don't know, just take it as you want to. Atlantis, yeah, you have a connection to Atlantis. I don't know why. I have a fear of drowning, and I know I've had a past life in Atlantis, so I don't know. Is this my pile and unintentionally? Like I said, I don't claim any, but we have karmic relationships. So for a lot of you, it was where you were in karmic relationships, you were married off to somebody, or you had to get married to somebody who you didn't really truly love, not someone you were really connected to. I love how this is someone in the army, so just another confirmation of someone that was a soldier, right? And it could be, is it possible that some of you were in like World War I? I don't know how it works, to be honest, as far as what's the time frame. Like, are you allowed to come back to life right after you pass? Or do you have to wait like X amount of years? And I don't think you have to wait too long, honestly, as long as God agrees to it. But that's a whole nother discussion for another day, but getting you guys thinking about it. We have woman dealings, a relationship with a woman. So for those of you that were a guy, you know, you were in a karmic relationship and possibly had a relationship, you had a mistress. For others of you, oh my gosh, okay, so it could have been that you were married to someone and they had a mistress and you found out. So it's vice versa, and that's where your karma would come from with that. We have the kangaroo, unsettled times, need to plan ahead, and I feel like it's just so sad. The kangaroo looks so sad, and it just reminds me of that Ten of Swords energy, just struggling and living on the farm and trying to make ends meet just to have something to eat on the table. We have fair man dealings, a relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. So there was someone who was very close to you who had this appearance, and with a fair man, I feel like, I don't know, like I was channeling Germany before, I think, and so it could be that that's a connection. This one's kind of hard. This one, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's kind of hard to say when you don't know, because it could just be that you were really close to your father. It could be that you were in a karmic relationship with someone like this. There's many different things, so I really don't want to waste too much time going on that. If you want to pause it and kind of think it over, see what intuitive nudges you get, then by all means go ahead and do so. Cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control. So my psychics, my witches, my shaman, my mediums, my tarot readers, all of you guys were protected, and you're still protected to this day because of what you were sent here to do, even though you were persecuted, even though you were treated unfairly, going back to that Five of Cups, even though you were done wrong, because really a lot of you had good intentions, but you know, other people didn't realize that. You were protected. You are protected. We have the funnel, period of frustrations, lessons to be learned. So, I mean, yeah, that's with all lives. But I feel like that contrast of having all the riches and then like, okay, you're going to earn it now. You're not going to do it any kind of vindictive way. Is what I get with that. So again, I'm sorry, you guys. I know it doesn't sound the best, but you know, no one on earth has ever had a perfect life other than one person, and that's all I'm gonna say. We have cracked cup, dissatisfaction with life. So I feel like a lot of you were probably dissatisfied. That 10 of Swords energy, where things did not go how you wanted it. You just felt so frustrated. You were struggling. You were down. For those of you who kind of have that lack mentality, it's carried on into this life, and I feel like you have ways of going about it to change it so that you don't have to do it again. Because if you're experiencing dissatisfaction with life right now and you feel like I don't have enough money, I'm struggling, I'm this 10 of Swords energy, then let me tell you, it's connected to one of your past lives, and maybe there's some healing to do here. But that is it, pile 2, because I've gone way over what I wanted to. This is how badly I've been wanting to do this pick a card, and I'm like, I'm gonna use all these cards. So if any of it makes sense, let me know. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you didn't, okay, move on. Please just don't spread the negativity. I know it's not gonna be for everybody. That's fine. That's okay. I am gonna start adding past life readings to my Etsy shop, so let me know. And then what I asked pile 1, because I kind of put it all together. Honestly, I could have probably split this up into 3 or 4 different readings, to be honest. And if you guys are interested in having more focus on who you were, or what happened in your past life, or how did I die in a past life, you know, comment, let me know. I'm open to ideas when it comes to past life. I feel like I've been granted access, thankfully, because, you know, I don't know, just thank you to my archangels for helping me, letting me be connected and get this information for you guys. But I would like to, this is going to be a regular. No matter how many views it gets, I don't care. I'm doing this because I really enjoy doing. So I don't know, maybe I just have a connection to Metatron. That's all it is to it. But let me know. Let me know. And I will add this to my Etsy shop, and I am going to restock today. So for those of you interested in personal readings, the link to my Etsy shop is in the description box. Also the link to my Instagram, also in the description box. Comment, like, share, subscribe if you're not already, and remember to click on the bell icon so you get notified when I post another pick a card. That is it, pile 2. See you guys on the next one. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading. Today's pick a card reading is a past life reading. I mentioned in the intro, I've been wanting to do this one forever, and I finally feel like I'm prepared enough to do it. And by the information that I've gotten from the other piles, I am clearly ready for it. This reading is going to go a little bit longer probably than I want to. I'm going to try to keep the pace up, to not slow down, because it's a lot of energy, a lot of information coming through. So that being said, let's get to it. You guys are the pineapple pile. She is a cutie, so we're going to put her over here. I did switch out, got a new, switched out the stuff and got new charms because I kind of got tired of the other ones. I'm like, I always get the same ones. Okay, I'm just trying to separate the 2 parts. So the first part, we're going to take a look at what were you like? What was your personality like? I'm honestly getting information from it. I'm trying to get career. I have cards pulled specifically for that, but let's get to it. That's all I gotta say. Let's get to it. We have the 3 of Wands. I feel like you are someone who is very patient. I get this very mature energy from you, pile 3, in a past life. I feel like you were like a teacher. You were someone people looked up to. You were very wise. You were very knowledgeable. I feel like you were someone who was very connected to nature for a lot of you as well. Am I getting anything else? For some of you, I feel like you did live in places where it was just hills and green, and I don't know, like a shepherd, possibly. Some of you may have been connected to biblical times just because of that association that I'm getting. I heard something, so I think that's confirmation that you guys were. Let's just do that. For that card, we have the Strength card. You guys were someone who was fearless. You guys had a lot of inner strength. What I see with both of these cards is how the person is kind of, they're both on ledges, like in that card and in this card. So you were someone who was very strong, you were fearless. I feel like a lot of you had very deep faith. You trusted in God and, you know, whatever other higher source, higher power you believed in. There you go. Some of you may have been Leo, because that's the strongest energy here. Fire energy is coming up in both of these cards. So you guys were, I don't get that fiery passion. I feel like you guys had self-control. A lot of you may have, some of you may have been like Buddhist monks, very kind of, again, that religious type energy. I feel that within your guys's. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles, she is very grounded. So in a past life, you were very grounded, very mature. You were resourceful. I feel like you were very fair. You were very kind and loving. For some of you, I do feel like you were royalty. So that is coming through. And of course, I know it's a general reading, so it's kind of hard to say who, but I do get that energy coming through. And that's what I get with those three, the Queen of Pentacles. I do feel like for some of you, you were mothers, you had children. Others of you, you may have been someone who was just, you had this energy of comfort. Like you may have been a priest, someone that people confided in, someone that people really trusted. People really went to you for guidance, for information, and to get more details. Let me see. I'm like, what other cards am I using? Oh, I might pull 3 for you guys. Okay, so we have Aries. So just another confirmation of fire energy coming through, but very active, self-starting, daring, fierce, assertive, fiery, innocent, on a mission. I don't get you guys are bossy. Now, of course, it's very possible, so I'm calling it out. Sparky, courageous. I don't get you guys are selfish. I don't. With those 3 cards, I don't get selfish energy. But it's not to say that in a different past life, you may have been. You might have been selfish. And macho, impulsive, argumentative, competitive. I feel like maybe that's kind of a separate life, honestly. I feel like this is one life, very mature, very grounded. And then over here, it was like the wild child, bossy, and trying to get what you want, and just not being afraid of anything. That fiery energy, you know. You got the Aries, you got the horns, maybe a little devilish in a way. So that's what I get with that card. We have Cancer. Okay, so Cancer, we do have some water energy. It's a little bit different energy, feeling sympathetic, comforting, nostalgic. That's kind of more of the Queen of Pentacles. I feel that connection there. You were protective, you were sympathetic, tender, nocturnal, caring, moody, receptive, sentimental, introverted, defensive, family-oriented. Yeah, I feel like you had a family. You were all about family. You were about goals. Very grounded, helpful, loving type of energy. So that's that card. We have Earnest. We have Revolution, breakthroughs, brainstorming. I get flight. Like some of you may have flown when it was like something brand new. I don't know. I just get that kind of energy. We have originality, insight, awakening, technology, innovation, humanitarianism, reform, surprise, freedom, experimentation, the unexpected, rupture, edge, diversity, lightning. I feel like you were someone who stood up for others who didn't have voices. You were someone who protected others. You kind of were a voice for a group of people for some of you. So that's really, really powerful, pile 3. You guys were the humanitarians. You guys were about doing good. You know, aside from the Aries energy, that's a different life though. I feel like these are kind of pretty much all intertwined in all one life. But we do have, like I said, technology, brainstorming. So you could have been, you know, when they were inventing the light bulb, when they were inventing radio, TV. I was mentioning the pile 2. I don't know the rules on lives. Like, what's the minimum time frame that you have to wait before you can come back for your next lifetime? I've seen examples where it seems like only a few years. So, you know, that's enough time, because how long ago was the telephone invented? How long ago were computers invented and all that? So there's a lot of different things here. Something to do with post, like mail even. So that's another thing coming through. So the next cards, what do I want to do? I think let's look at, we'll keep looking at personality and then we'll do career. So the next card we have is Eagle Mastery. And Mastery, I feel like the Hermit card. I just feel like you were spiritually awakened in your past life, pile 3. So this isn't the first time. I feel like you were just more aware than a lot of other people around you. And you had that self-mastery. You had the control over yourself. So that's very positive to see. You were on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You're guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. So you were very knowledgeable. You knew about different things. I feel like a lot of you had some spiritual gifts. So that's actually been coming up in some of the readings. So it's really cool to see that you were just spiritually talented. And then look at that. We have the owl. And so of course the owl is known for being wise and knowledgeable, old soul. So you definitely have lived through multiple lifetimes, 503, but you guys were just, I feel like you just were calm. Like there was just something about your presence that made people feel comfortable, at ease. Like it was just, I don't know, like just comforting to be around you. I mean, there's really no other way for me to say it. And it says, choose to know the truth because you can. You knew the truth. You had the wisdom. You had the knowledge. I don't think there's really too much else to add on to that, to be honest. So we're going to skip to the next one. And look, we have another lion. So pile 3, your spirit animals in past lives, and maybe in this one, has been the lion, I feel, because lion has showed up twice. So that's very, very neat to see that come through. And it says higher calling. I have no words. I'm tongue-tied because it's just so interconnected. So I do kind of like your energy. Well, I like your pile. I like how so many of the cards really seem to be aligned with one another. I love the other readings too because there was so much different energy, so many different lives coming through. But for yours, it might be that because you've been spiritually woke in most of your lives, it's kind of like you carry the same calm, loving, trusting aura about you in a way. So I don't know, I mean, we still have this Aries card over here, so let's take a look. This is the cards that I pulled next. These are to see what kind of career, what kind of work you used to do. So this one's interesting. Child divine. Well, okay, that makes sense. You were a child of the divine. You were spiritually here. You were here to pass on messages. You were a messenger. You were a seer. You were very intuitive. You were psychic. You were a medium. You helped people. And I feel like you kind of cloaked it in a way where people didn't know you had those gifts, but you always had the answers in some way. So you were kind of mysterious in that sense, because it was like, how did they know? How did they always have the answers? And you know, and you just kind of played it off. I feel oh my gosh, who am I picturing? I'm picturing the emperor from Mulan. If you guys can picture it, or pause it and go Google. That's the person I'm seeing in my mind. Just this very calm soul, and just that's just the energy I'm getting from your past life. It says innocence, purity, redemption, suggests a special connection with the divine. Yeah. Shadow, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. No, I think that's just completely all child divine. That's it. You guys have so many synchronicities. We have Prince. Okay, so the light attribute says romantic charm and potential for power. So I do feel this is tapping into something else. This is a different life that I'm getting. But you know, it's not to say that you couldn't have been very spiritual and romantic. That's very possible here, but I do feel like this is a different life that we're tapping into right now. This is someone who had an upper class status, aristocrat, royalty, that sort of thing. So I feel that's what's coming through here. Could have been that Prince Charming, could have been someone who was after the ladies back then. You know, I mentioned it in the other piles. It's very possible, you know, you could have been male in past lives if you're female. If you're male, you could have been female. You know, it doesn't matter. We're just looking at what possibly might have been. So and we have that. The shadow attribute is using power for self aggrandizement. I hope I said that right. Forgive me if I didn't. So I feel maybe just kind of the ego, because it could be with that, with the Aries. I kind of get like it may have been someone, and actually over here, no, not that. There was something else. I just feel like maybe using things to your advantage in the past, so that's very possible with that. And then the other career, you know, the prince, it could have been someone, because it was career that I focused on. So a lot of you didn't really have to do too much work, and this is going to be for some of you. But then the next thing we have is a pioneer. It's a passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. So a lot of you were inventors, you were people who studied, you learned new things, you discovered new things. Some of you may have invented new things. It's not something that can be dismissed, because the reality is it is a possibility. So that's really cool if one of you did create, you know, light bulb, the radio, just different things, the wheel, you know. It's possible though, and I cannot dismiss that. And so I know it's hard to be like, well, I invented the wheel, I invented TV, you know. It's hard to say that, but it's coming through. So you were someone who was a creator, you were an inventor, you were studying. I don't feel like mad scientist, but I do feel like you kind of pushed the limits of what was known at the time, and I feel like you kind of tapped into, again, your intuition, and it helped you, and people were just kind of amazed by that. So the next part of the reading is what happened in your past life. What was your past life like? So I'm going to start over here and pull out this oracle card. Ooh, we have envy. So I feel like you were possibly a little jealous. I think it may have been possible that there was, I feel, because over here, this energy seems so pure. The energy I was picking on was just very positive, very kind, very loving. But this, it's like the opposite, right? It's that good witch, bad witch kind of vibe that I'm getting at. And I laugh, but I'm actually being pretty serious about this. It is where you had, and I don't feel like you knew, but I feel people knew. Some people knew. I feel like other people who were also like very intuitive, very connected to other powers, they knew that there was more to you. And I feel, but there's others of them who didn't really know, but people were jealous of you because you always seemed to have success. People were jealous of you. But of course, with this, there's also that part of you were jealous in a past life. If you're jealous in this life, then maybe you carried it on from your past life with the Aries energy, and even with the Strength card, because the Strength card is like really taking a lot of energy to, you know, hold back from what you really want to do. You know, I just feel like someone fighting it and someone has to hold you back kind of thing. That's really the imagery I get with that. So there's that. I'm gonna keep going. I can't keep focusing on one card. We have the Earth Fairy, and so physical health, grounding, foundations. I do feel like you were a stable force in other people's lives. With physical health, a lot of you could have been healers. A lot of you could have been teaching classes. Like, I get that. Some of you could have been nurses. Some of you could have helped out like the wounded in wars. Like, you were there to help, you know, heal all the soldiers kind of thing. But I do feel like the Earth Fairy, you were just very connected again to source with that. I don't really get too much difference. Sorry, I know for some of you maybe this isn't resonating too much, because it feels like I'm tapping into one kind of life, not too many that I'm getting, but there's still more cards to come. So let's see what else we have. We have empath, so reflect and redirect your energy. So it could have been in your life that you were frustrated because it felt like you were blocked, like you were just wanting to do something, and I feel like a lot of times, especially in the history, that other people were what blocked you. It wasn't yourself. I feel like people, family blocked you, society blocked you. You know, it was like, oh, you can't do that, or you're not in this class, you know, so you gotta go. You can't. It's not for you. Uh, for some of you, it could have been maybe you were a prince and you're like you were interested in someone who was a commoner, like, you know, just not in the same class as you, and it could have been where no marriage because you got to marry a princess kind of thing. So I know it sounds kind of weird, but I do feel like there was a lot of blocks in your life. I feel like you were prevented from doing things, and of course for my my psychics and tarot readers and that kind of thing, I feel like, you know, society was what blocked you from really shining your gifts. Okay, we're gonna do the tarot cards that I pulled for this part. So we have the Ace of Potions, we have the Five of Presents, and then we have Justice. Okay, so let me just move some cards around. But we have the Ace of Potions. And I do feel like you were a very, I feel like there was love. I think you fell in love with someone, and it kind of takes me back to that prince and commoner kind of thing, or just not being in that same class, even if it wasn't a prince, just upper kind of aristocrat, you know, someone who made a lot of money, that kind of thing. But there was a lot of love in your life, so that's really nice to see. Whether it was romantic or not, I do feel like there was a lot of love, but because this is the Ace of Cups, I do feel like there was someone that you really did have deep feelings for. We have the Five of Presents, so for some of you, this is just kind of going back, it's crazy, but it is where you didn't have a lot of money, you didn't have a lot of, like, you struggled, just not financially well off in this lifetime. Not the kind of, just for some of you, it could have been that you were homeless. It could have been that you couldn't afford to really live anywhere. Some of you were gypsies. You traveled from place to place, so you didn't really have a home in that sense. But really, with the Five of Presents, that's more just not doing the greatest financially, really struggling to just pay those taxes, right? Pay the taxes and put food on the table, just small things. And then we have Justice, and I feel like with this, this is multiple things. This is going to be where you had karma, so this was some karma that you were paying off in this lifetime, and maybe that's part of the impasse, like spirit's like, no, you can't do that, so you might have been blocked. Divine intervention kind of thing. Justice, I also feel like for a lot of you, it was where you were wrongly, you know, you weren't treated fairly, you weren't done right, people did you dirty in past lives. So if you're getting good karma, then I feel like that, you know, I don't know, do you guys ever just meet someone, sorry, cut off on me, but you just have this strong, like, I don't know what it is about you, but I really don't like you. Do you ever wonder if if that's a person that you shared a past life with, and maybe they did you wrong, or like maybe people don't like you because you did them wrong in a past life and it carries on energetically? I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of curious to what your guys' theories are. So that's kind of mine. I think maybe it's possible, you know, because it's like, why would you just not really like someone energetically, you know? So I don't know, you know, it's different when they give you a reason, but when they don't give you a reason, it's like, why? But going back to the Justice, I do feel like that for some of you, you were law students, you were into law. I don't know the history of law, I don't know how far back it goes, but that's possibly something for a lot of you. Some of you may have been students, some of you were just really about learning and knowledge and that sort of thing. Okay, let's do these cards next. So we have ships. So a lot of you could have been travelers, could have, you know, come over to America. Maybe you relocated. If you have, I don't know, for those of you who have done those DNA tests and to see, like, you know, what nationalities you are and stuff, and you're like, well, why am I from that country? Maybe that's it, you know, maybe your country located. It could be that you guys traveled a great distance. It could be that you guys sailed the open seas. It could have been that you were traders. Some of you may have been pirates. I would not put that, you know, out of the picture. Some of you could have been fishermen. So there's multiple different opportunities here for different ideas as far as your life. Your life may have been on the ship. If you love water, maybe that's part of the reason too. Or if you hate it, if you're like, I get motion sick, maybe that's why, you know, it could be multiple different things. We have father. So I feel like there was a close relationship with your father. There was a closeness here. And maybe you learned quite a bit from them. It could be that your mother wasn't in the picture, but we're going to pull some more cards to see what we have. We have wars and battles. So this is interesting because this came up in one of the other ones, but you guys got the card. And this is about, you know, soldiers. You guys fought in war, and it doesn't have to be, of course, like Civil War or anything in American history. There's so many wars, right? So many, like the French Revolution, and I don't even know. I should have brushed up on my history apparently, but you guys know, you know what I mean. So it was, and I feel like for some of you, you did die in battle, and so very respectable, you know. It's because you died for your country, you fought for your country, and that's what we get with that. And then we have biblical. So a lot of you who have this divine connection, I mean, you were alive in biblical times. You may have known him, and you guys know who I'm talking about. I know some people don't believe, and that's fine. That is completely fine. I'm not here to push anything on anybody. But it's possible, very possible, that you have that, and you are just a very, very old soul. Let's do this other new deck. This is another new deck I have. We have change. So we have someone, we have the owl. We have another owl here. I feel with this one, your life was constantly changing. I feel like you were someone who kind of really had to hide yourself from people. You didn't really associate too much with others. Some of you may have been more introverted, kind of really like a hermit card energy that we're getting with this. For some of you, I'm not getting too much with this card. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there was a big change from this one that just left you unhappy. I feel like there was a big change, and it could be that you lost a father just because of the placement here. And I always say how the placement usually means something. So if you have like father wounds, that could be another reason too, of being abandoned or not being, maybe being disowned, or like, you know, like what they would say, like disgracing your family, and they don't want to have anything to do with you. So there's that. We have surrender. So this is a really, really pretty card. This, I feel, goes with wars and battles. So you may have been on the losing team. It could have been, you know, it didn't go how you guys definitely wanted it to. So we have that with the surrender. I feel like you didn't have a voice. With the surrender, you always had to surrender to what everyone else wanted you to do. So I don't feel like you had a lot of freedom in your past lives. We have faith, and so faith and biblical, that ties into all the other things, the higher calling with the lion. Let's get to the tea leaf card. So we have bell, announcement. And there's so many different things, right? It can be marriage, a pregnancy, it could be a loss. There's so many things when it comes to the bell in your past life. And I feel like there was just some kind of announcement that led to a very big change for you. We have the younger woman, dealings a relationship with a younger woman. So you had a younger sister is what I get here. But you also may have had a friend who was a younger woman who you confided in, who you trusted. And for some of you, yeah, maybe there was, if your person, you know, you were married, then there was a mistress with that. So there's all different possibilities with that card. We have the eagle. And you guys have the eagle yet again. There's so many synchronicities within these readings today. It is insane, and I'm so grateful. Just like the change card, how it had the owl there, we have the eagle. So the owl and the eagle, I feel like, might be your spirit animals. If you don't know what your spirit animal is, you might want to look into it, Pile 3. It seems like one of these might be, or even the lion, because the lion appears twice too. We have the lion on that card right here, as well as the strength card, which is buried underneath. Oh, wow, just synchronicity. But the eagle, triumph over troubles, obstacles. So you were victorious. So on the flip side, yeah, some of you were victorious in war, but I feel like you overcame a lot. You surrendered. For a lot of you, might have been that you surrendered to the divine in past lives, and everything just kind of worked out for you. You had that eagle eye watching out for you with spirit. But otherwise, you were successful. You made it through the problems in your life. So you did really good. I know we're tapping into a little bit more different lives, so this is kind of the same energy as the other piles now, not just limited to one. We have dog far away, distant friend is thinking about you. So for some of you, I do feel like you were close to your animals, and you might have been an animal lover in a past life. You may have had a pet. Also could be that you had friends who live far away. It could have been that your friend, you know, ended up moving away, or she got married, or oh gosh, like I don't even want to, like it came to me and it's so hard for me to say it, but the truth is, so many people were sold into slavery, and that's kind of what I get with that. Like that's what caused the distance. So I don't mean to like bring up triggers either, because I know it's very upsetting and it's definitely not right, and it's sad to think, you know, some things are not changed completely in this world, but it's what I'm getting with it, so that's why I bring it up. So forgive me, you guys. This is insane. So I was mentioning how you guys had the owl here, you had the owl there. Oh, you have the owl yet again. This is your third owl. Good advice from a wise person. You guys were just wise. You were the one that people trusted. You were someone they counted on. I feel like you were a leader in some kind of a way. People just came to you, and I think that's what your success people were just jealous of. Whether or not you were, you know, divine and that kind of thing, I just feel like you guys were very successful no matter what kind of life you led, and people were jealous of you. But I also do feel like, yeah, there was some jealousy. I feel like maybe there was some unrequited love, and your person that you had your eye on possibly went towards another person instead. So multiple different things, right? We have the Pale, time to get out of a situation. So it might have been like a loveless relationship. Now it's different, because in the past, in some situations, like you really couldn't do it as easily as you could now, right? Because you've had society and their rules and everything. So that's one thing. Time to get out of a situation. It may have been that you were just something like you were just kind of trapped in a situation that you were not happy about. I'm just not really picking up anything specific. I just feel like during your lifetime there was something that you just had to like get out some way or another, possibly escape. It's another thing where just emotions kind of went away. So I think that's all I have. This has been pretty much, yeah, I feel like we covered a lot. So I'm going to be doing more past life readings. I do want to add it to my Etsy shop for personals. So for those of you interested, I do need to restock the shop. I'm going to after this. So after you watch this, the store should be ready. And what else? I know it's hard for this reading to really resonate with everything being said, but I'm hoping with the things like maybe personality traits in here, or you're like, well, I'm still like that, or I have spiritual gifts, or I'm, you know, psychic and that kind of thing, then maybe this is confirmation for you that you got it from a past life and you're carrying it on into this life. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you did. If you didn't, just please move along and go to the next reading, and I hope you do find a message that resonates for you somewhere. And the link to my Etsy shop is in the description box. The link to my Instagram for more pick a card readings also in the description box. And like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. You guys really would appreciate it. That is all I have, Pio 3. Thank you guys again for your time. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye.